Once upon a time, in a faraway land at the foot of some tall mountains, there lived a wise old monk. He spent his days tending his garden and teaching life lessons to the people who visited him. One day, the monk had a brilliant idea to teach the villagers about the importance of taking responsibility and using effort to create opportunities. So he hatched a plan. Early next morning, when everyone was asleep, he went out, picked up a large, heavy stone, and rolled it into the middle of the main road leading to the village market. It was a busy road, and the stone was big and heavy enough to stop anyone in their tracks. Then he hid behind a big tree nearby and waited patiently. Soon, a wealthy merchant came riding his horse. He was on his way to the market to buy supplies for his shop. He was well dressed in fine clothes, and his face was full of smiles as he hummed a little tune while riding. But his smile quickly vanished when he saw the stone blocking his path. He shouted, "Who has put this stone here? Doesn't the king care for his roads? What a careless lot of people we have in charge." He shook his head and turned his horse around to take the long way around the obstacle. As he rode away, he kept grumbling about how careless people are and how the authorities should be more mindful of the inconvenience caused to hard-working people like himself. After a while, the monk saw a group of villagers coming. They were carrying baskets of goods to sell at the market. When they saw the stone, one of them said, "Oh, look at this. Who would do such a thing? These stones are never here. It's probably the work of some naughty children playing around. The king and his officials must be informed." Another one said, "It's too heavy for me to move. Besides, why should I? Someone else can move it. It's not my job." A third one added, "I agree. Let's leave it here. If the king wants the roads cleared, he should pay us to do it. Why should we work for nothing?" So they all stood there grumbling and blaming others for not clearing the stone off the road. None of them wanted to put in any effort to remove it. They just stood there complaining and made excuses as to why they could not do it. And so they all went around the stone and continued on their way to the market. The monk still didn't say anything. He quietly watched as people passed by throughout the day, each one complaining about the stone, but none willing to put in the effort to clear it away. Finally, just before sunset, a poor farmer's boy came walking along the road. He was tired after a long day of work in the fields. His clothes were dirty, and he had a bandage around his hand. On his back, he carried a bundle of vegetables that he intended to sell at the market. When he saw the stone, he scratched his head and thought for a moment. He looked around to see if anyone was coming. Since the market was already closed, there was no one around. Slowly, he put down his bundle and started pushing the rock to the side of the road. At first, it was very difficult for him as the stone was big and heavy. But slowly, as he gained momentum, he started to move it. He pushed, pulled, and strained for a long time until finally, with great effort, he managed to roll the stone off the road. Panting heavily, the boy sat down beside the stone. As he rested, he noticed a small cloth bag lying where the stone had been. Out of curiosity, he opened it. Inside, he found many shiny gold coins. There was also a note written by the monk. The boy read it. It said, "This gold is a reward for whoever removes the obstacle from the road. While others blame and complain, only those who take responsibility create their own fortune." At that moment, the monk stepped out from behind the tree and said to the boy, "You see, in life, every obstacle hides an opportunity. While the lazy complain, the wise act, and it is they who find the treasure." The boy was surprised to see the monk, but he bowed gratefully and thanked him for the coins and the life lesson. From that day on, he never complained about doing his work. Instead, he always looked for ways to improve himself and his work. And because of this, he lived a happy and fulfilling life. And that, my friends, is the story of the stone on the road. Now let's think about the moral of the story. Sometimes in our lives, we come across problems that seem to be insurmountable. They may appear as obstacles blocking our path to success, happiness, or even basic needs like food, water, and shelter. It's easy to complain about these problems and blame others for our troubles. Many people choose this path, but it doesn't solve anything, and it certainly won't make our lives better. Instead of being like the merchant and the villagers who only complained but never acted, we can learn from the example of the poor farmer's boy. He didn't have much, but when faced with the obstacle, he didn't complain. He took action and moved the stone, and as a result, he not only solved the problem, but he also received a reward for his efforts. Life is full of opportunities and challenges. It's up to us to decide how we will react. Will we be like the people who complained and blamed others and got nothing for their troubles? Or will we be like the young boy who took action, solved the problem, and earned a reward? It's important to remember that we can't control everything that happens to us. There will always be things that are beyond our power to change. However, we can control our attitude towards those things. We can choose to either complain and feel sorry for ourselves, or we can take action and try to make things better. The story of the stone on the road teaches us that sometimes the obstacles we encounter can lead to great opportunities. All we have to do is be willing to take action. There are many examples of people who have faced great obstacles in their lives, but instead of giving up, they took action and made something good out of it. For example, Stephen Hawking was diagnosed with a rare disease at a young age, but he didn't let it stop him from becoming one of the most brilliant scientists of our time. Helen Keller was both blind and deaf, but she didn't let that stop her from becoming a world-renowned author and lecturer. J.K. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare when she wrote the first Harry Potter book, but she didn't give up on her dream of becoming a writer, and today she is one of the most successful authors of all time. These are just a few examples of people who have overcome obstacles and achieved great things. Their stories teach us that no matter what challenges we face in life, we should never give up. Instead, we should take action, be persistent, and never lose hope. Remember, my friends, life is full of opportunities and challenges. It's up to us to decide how we will react. Will we be like the people who complained and blamed others and got nothing for their troubles? Or will we be like the young boy who took action, solved the problem, and earned a reward? If you want to be successful in life, if you want to achieve your dreams, then don't just complain and blame others. Take action, be proactive, and remember, sometimes the obstacles we face are actually opportunities in disguise. Now it's time to ask you a question. Have you ever faced an obstacle in your life that you thought was impossible to overcome? How did you react? Did you complain or did you take action? Share your story with us in the comments below. And that's all for today's story. If you liked this story, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe for more amazing stories. And as always, thank you for watching.